year, we paid $1 billion in death claims. You know, what's that do for families' lives? I mean, what does that do for saving children's futures, being able to go to college, all those kinds of things? That's what this business does. It does something good. It takes a stand. And now, as we're our own independent company, which I believe all this happened for a reason and for the right thing, now we're 100% a Main Street company. We're not connected with all those screwed up Wall Street companies, which I think is a huge advantage. People don't like Wall Street. People don't like Washington. People don't want to be connected to those institutions. Us being a true Main Street, Duluth, Georgia-based company is going to be a huge advantage. So what I want to do is spend some time with you this morning and talk to you about you and what you need to do to change your life. I've spent a life growing up. I mean, look, I grew up a kid. I grew up in a very middle-class family, totally positive parents. I was an only child. But I had a very, very strong family raising. I didn't, grow up in a screwed up, messed up family. So a lot of people, you spend your whole life overcoming your first 5 to 10 years of your life. I'm not one of those guys, okay? I had a great home, incredible mom and dad, but we were totally middle class. Grew up, very rural Georgia, and went to high school, never knew the idea of being a CEO. I mean, it was not in my, anything I would have ever thought of. Okay, people ask me, in fact, they just did an interview with me that's going to be in the big Atlanta newspaper in a few weeks or whatever, kind of a profile kind of thing. And I mean, I had no clue. I mean, the idea I was going to wind up a CEO, doing an IPO, going to Washington, doing all that kind of stuff. Honestly, that was so alien to me. And I would have thought, you're insane. Too many insecurities, too many fears and stuff. And one of the things I've learned in life is your personal fears, the personal anxieties you have inside you is what holds you back so much in life. I promise you, you are a bunch better than you think you are. You have a lot more potential in you than you're willing to let yourself believe you have. You can do things that would absolutely amaze you. I mean, I see some of the things I do now, and I go, oh my God, how could I have done that? How could because I'm just a kid from nowhere, Georgia, that did pretty good in school, okay, that went on, true story, because let me just tell you, so number one, the biggest thing that holds you back in life are your fears and doubts. You become a victim to those fears and doubts and insecurities that you allow to control what you try to do and what you ultimately do. There is no doubt in my mind, okay, that as a person, the biggest key is, and people tell you all the time, all these, motivational speakers and self-help gurus, do all this, how to control your fears, how to get rid of your fears. You will never get rid of your fears. They will always be there at 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up and can't go back to sleep. I promise you, they are good friends of mine. Okay, when I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, wrestling with a lot of the things I wrestle with, dealing with the things I deal with, they are right there, bright and shining at 3 o'clock in the morning. That's kind of the time where things look the worst to you. When you know there's nothing you can do about it, and it's just you, and you're rattling around, and getting a bottle of water and going and sitting in the study a while and try to read a little bit or whatever. That's when your feet